Morning, gardening friends. It's let's see, Saturday the 14th. It'll be April 14th, the day before tax day, or the day before the normal tax day. Anyway, it's, well, let's see, it's a little bit before 10 a.m. It's been a little while since I've done an update, and as you've probably noticed now, just looking at this, now let me see if I can actually catch something real quick here. Where'd he go? Yeah, we had a bird in the tree here. I don't know where he went. I thought that would be interesting. It's kind of nice to have the birds around. Anyway, as you probably noticed, I've done something different here. I have not done a how-to because this has been a disaster to build. I need to re-engineer it and probably go back and rebuy all these materials and do it again. Try and do it intelligently so it's more of a budget item. There he goes. I don't know if you saw the bird. Wow. That's not just a bird, that's a crow. We can catch him. I don't know how well you can see him there in the tree. At some point he'll fly off, and I'll continue. Or I'll just continue now. You may see him fly off while I'm talking. There we go. Anyway, so what I've done is I've built a cage around my planter. Actually, the motivation for this is actually the other planter here, is because the grasshoppers have attacked. And I've got one bean down there that they just chopped off right at the base. No chance to grow like the ones next to it. It really kind of upsets me. I wanted to build a cage, and I started building a cage, and I started building the cage for this one for some reason instead of for this one. Maybe because I got more plants in here. Sorry about that. So we'll see if the cage makes any difference. I could put a top on it and a front on it. That was the original plan, but these are actually the pieces, the frames that I built. It just turned out to be like, if I build the whole thing and then try and put it on, it's too hard to lift because it's too cumbersome, not too heavy. And if I try and build it in place, which is what I was trying to do with these three panels that are up, it's still kind of cumbersome trying to build it, especially with an elevated planter like that. So I need to figure out some engineering that'll make it work out better for me. But let's take a look at the garden. In our first planter, we've got the nasturtium is doing really nicely. No flowers yet, but you can see the leaves growing. We've got some marigold way in the back. We've got, now let me see if I can do this right. I think these are the mustard greens. I finally harvested some leaves from the garden this past week and tried them out, and the mustard greens were a bit of an adventure. I'd never tasted mustard greens before. See, actually, if you look carefully, you can see that's what the grasshoppers are doing to my leaves, and I don't like it. I mean, it's either grasshoppers or smaller insects, but I'm more likely it's the grasshoppers, and that's what I don't like. Next planter, sorry. The nasturtium doing nicely, some beans in front of that, at least to our perspective from this side. Then we've got the Easter egg radish, which looks to be doing nicely. The big leaves on there. But I've been pulling a couple of them just to see, and when I pull them, they're not developed yet. So it's supposed to be 28 days, but in my particular region or whatever, it's just not working that way. Oh, I just noticed another thing I don't like about overwatering or having a lot of rain, because I got all those mushrooms. I'll pick those and get rid of them. This one, well, basically what we've got here is the nasturtium is doing good, the beans are doing good, the greens have been doing good. I've been harvesting some of them. We get to the lima bean on that side, and there's the one bean down in there. I don't know how well you can see that. I'm going to harvest that before too long. The tomato plant doing nicely, really kind of bouncing back now that it's had a chance to put out new roots. Unfortunately, one of the branches that was hanging over the edge I've had to get rid of now because I was putting up the cage and it got damaged. More of the greens out front, the chamomile starting to kind of pop up. We'll see what that turns into. I've grown some more greens over here. Pardon all the mess here. I might get this all cleaned up today or tomorrow. Then we've got over here, we've got the squash planter with the kabocha squash, with the beans in the back, and like I said, the one that the grasshopper got. And then there's beans on either end that are growing kind of funny. I don't know if they've been chopped by the grasshopper or if that's just how they grow. Corn in the corners, so we're doing good here. The rest of the garden, I'm just going to give you a view from here because it's really messy here and I need to clean up. Some of it not doing as well because it actually was lacking water, I think. It just looks like it dried out despite the rain. So that's it for inside the patio. Wanted to give you a view of the pot outside the patio that used to have the tall zinnia. You can see the greens are doing nicely. It's actually been kind of cool this week and rainy. We've got something growing in the bottom of the pot. Looks like there's actually some the broom corn growing in there, but it's mostly, I think, this same plant, whatever it is, just continues to put out runners and grow here. The hanging planters are doing quite nicely. We're starting to get these flowers like these up on here. And if I come around, you can see how this one here is doing. That's always had so many flowers, I've actually got to do some deadheading. I've also got to water them. We've got the green pots down below. The apartment mix doing nicely. You can see the broom corn pretty clearly with some marigold in there. Not seeing much in terms of the tall zinnia on any of these apartment mix planters, but maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe they'll grow later. Another one of these where you can actually see the marigold flowers popping in there. And we get the other hanging planters, which don't look like much, although there is some stuff starting to grow up here. And similarly over here, we have some flowers on the bottom. And the stuff is starting to grow on the top. It's just, it seems like it goes really slow for a long time, and then it just suddenly picks up speed. And then eventually you get something like this one. So, and the flower I transplanted in the bottom has survived. That's good news. But look at all that color up there. Let me see if I can steady it a little for you. Then we have the back side of the office building there. You can see some stuff coming out the top. In fact, let's kind of go up and give you a little better view. And we've got good flowers growing there. A little bit starting to come out the top. We got the third planter here. I'm going around the trees a little bit more work now because it's leafing out, which is nice. So there's more coming out the top there. Nothing on the bottom, so the bean experiment doesn't appear to have done much. And the last one. And now we're in the north courtyard. We've got this plant doing what it's doing. We've got the another apartment mix. Actually, this was apartment mix, wasn't doing anything, so I planted some nasturtium. We'll see what happens there. I don't see any sprouts just yet. Okay, now we get some plants over here, and this one looks like it needs a little TLC. Another apartment mix planter. Had sprouts, had a lot of rain, might have killed the sprouts. We'll see what happens in the next couple of days now that the sun's coming back out. And finally we have this shelf. The volunteer, so you can see what happens after a bunch of rain. I got a lot of collected water in here because there's no drain hole on this one. I really should correct that. So I just pour out the water. Plants seem pretty hardy. They survive that. They don't generally fall out on me. So there you go. You can see just how much water is collected in there. Should be good enough for now. We've got the marigold doing nicely here. We've got a planter that I replanted, planted a bunch of, what did I plant? I put something in the middle. I've forgotten what I put in the middle. And I put radish, the Easter egg radish, around the sides, and that seems to be growing nicely. I'll remember what's in the middle shortly. This one I just stole some dirt from, so there's nothing in there. That was the flower. Here's the chamomile and basil. And then this was really nice this past week. It was the strawberries. I've actually harvested a few off. And you can see there's one right there doing pretty nicely. Let's see what else we got. So we got more little strawberries growing in here. So that makes me feel good. So somehow I've got this thing positioned right at this particular point, so I'm not going to mess with it. And I'll just continue to harvest those strawberries as they come up. So that's pretty much the entire garden, or the entire complex for now.